Hi everyone, my name is Adriana and I am a fourth year CCS bio major at UCSB. And in this video, I will be talking to you about email etiquette, or in other words, how to write an email. So before you write your email, you have to figure out what kind of email you're trying to write. And this usually falls within two categories: casual or formal email writing. And you can split up the differences between audience, structure, and language and tone. So for a casual email, you can kind of think of it like texting. Your audience is the people who know you really well and who are close to you, such as family and friends, which is usually people you text with, so your close-knit circle. Rather, for a formal email, it's people in higher positions and positions of authority, such as professors and bosses, college advisors, etc. Now for structure, again, a casual email is kind of like a text. You can create your own rules and organization doesn't matter as much. But in a formal email, you have to use defined and clear structure that usually follows similar standards for most emails, because that's how people in higher positions perceive a formal email, when there is a clear structure that you follow, which I'll go over in a bit. Now for language and tone, again, like an email, so you can use slang emojis and create your own rules for casual emailing. Rather, with formal, you have to use full sentences, proper grammar, good usage of punctuation, no emojis, and clear wording. So formal emailing is what you would expect you would use the email communication for. Now, what is the structure of a formal email? So the structure falls under these categories. So first I'll go over subject line. This is before the body, the subject. That's the first thing that the person who receives your email will read. And for the subject line, you have to be detailed but straight to the point, about 6 to 10 words long. You don't want a full sentence, but you don't also want one word. You want something that's descriptive and concise. Now for greetings, use dear blank for the first time, and you can continue with good morning, good afternoon, or hello. Now don't address people by their first name and use correct prefix titles. By prefix title, I mean if they have their PhD, use doctor. If they don't have a PhD or an MD, you can use Mr. or Miss, MS dot, and follow that with their last name. Now for introduction, this is the main body of the email. You introduce who you are, what year you are, what your major is, and why you're writing this email in the first paragraph. So the first thing is a greeting, then introduction is your second paragraph. Now your third paragraph is your body. So the body elaborates the purpose of the email and includes details of the date and time if it's to schedule a meeting, or details of a question you're asking, for example. So greeting, introduction, then body. So greeting is the shortest, introduction is a little longer, and the body is usually the longest. Now the ending is the closing. So you have to end with a departing note, such as looking forward to hearing from you, or I hope you're well. And then at the very end, you use best or sincerely, and then you skip another line and you include your first and your last name. And I will give an example in a bit, but this is basically the structure that you follow for a formal email in almost all circumstances. And these are the no-nos, or what not to do. Again, don't use slang and don't use abbreviations and contractions nor emojis. A contraction is basically don't instead of do not. And abbreviations are things that the person who receives it wouldn't know the abbreviation. Don't misspell words. Don't make mistakes in the name. That's really important. Make sure you know who you are talking to and how to spell their name. Don't use wrong usage of punctuation in terms of commas, semicolons, and all of that. No incomplete sentences, no informal greetings such as, hey, how are you? Or things like that, or hi. And don't use your personal email. Try to use your school email, because your personal email might have a name in there that you don't want the other person to see, or it's an email that you've used since you were a kid, and then it's not the best form of communication with in a formal setting. And don't use different fonts within the same email, or font sizes. That's really important. Now here we have what it is, a good email template. So you have your subject line of not descriptive, of being descriptive, but not too long. Then you have dear professor / doctor, if they have a PhD or their MD, and you introduce yourself, and then you have the body, then you have the closing, and then you have the rest. So over here, I have an example. The subject line, MCDB 111, so you make it clear that that's the class you're asking questions and office hours about. So it's not just one word, but it's also not too long, and it's pretty descriptive about what you're going to talk about in your email. And used a random name, Dear Dr. Smith, my name is Adriana Ramirez-Negron, and I am a 4th year biology major. So state your name, your year, and what major you are. And you continue, I'm a student in your MCDB 1 course this quarter, and I'm reaching out because I had several questions about the course material. So this is you introducing yourself and introducing why you're emailing. Now in the body, you write, when discussing the nervous system, we talked about blank. Why is that the case? In addition, the biochemical process of blank was confusing. So this is more details about why you're emailing. Now you can separate this from this paragraph, if possible, I would love to schedule office hours with you to discuss this further, or you can combine them into one paragraph, but this is basically all of the body. And you can, especially if you're trying to schedule a meeting, you can give them your availability so they can give you back like what availability they have. So I'm available Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 12 to 6. Please let me know what day / time works for you. So they're usually busier than you, so you want to give them options and have them respond to you about that. And then you follow up with thank you for your time and consideration, or I look forward to hearing from you, or I hope all is well, thank you for your time, that kind of thing. Then you get another space, and then you do best and your name. Another email example of a good email. This is if you're interested in participating in a lab, or if you're applying for something, or if you're trying to reach out because you're interested in blank, for whatever reason, something you're interested in. Subject line, keep it simple, short and sweet, but descriptive. Undergraduate interest in your research lab. This is exactly what I did when I was trying to join my lab last year. Again, dear Dr. Blank, my name is Adriana. I'm reaching out because I'm very interested in participating in your research lab. So that's your introduction, your clear statement of why you're emailing. More detail in your body. So after going through your website and reading some of your selected papers, I learned that blank. Specifically in the paper title blank, I found interesting how blank. So this shows your interest. This adds detail to your email that adds more context rather than just stating why you're emailing. You're stating why in more detail. And again, your closing, if you have opening your lab, I would love to work as a part of your research group. I believe that interning in this lab will help me as I work towards my goals. You can add here, what are your goals specifically? What do you intend to do in the future? And something you can do in emails is also, I have attached my resume to this email for your review. And again, I look forward to hearing from you, or I thank you for your time, and I hope all is well. And again, the space, best Adriana, and your name. Now here are some bad email examples. So this is usually what you would see when you're texting. So this is your casual emails per se. So subject line, hi. That is not a good subject line just because it is too short, not descriptive, and doesn't say much about what you're gonna say in your email at all. And then the email, hey there, 2 exclamation points, no. And then this is blank, it's great to meet you. So there's an error here. There should be a apostrophe right here. That's a grammatical error that you want to catch before you're sending an email. How are you doing? Slang. I'm doing good. Your email, you're not talking to yourself, you're talking to someone else. I'm just reaching out because I wanted to ask if blank. So cause, that's an abbreviation. You don't want to do that. And thank you so much, your name. There should be a space between thank you so much and your name. And you want to add sincerely or best before you write your name. Another bad example is you're using a subject line and that it says question. It doesn't really say what you're questioning about or why. It's really brief and it's not a good subject line. And so you have hi, John. So hi is not formal, and John, that's using their first name, so you want to try to use their last name. And exclamation point, you usually want to follow with a comma, not an exclamation point for your greeting. This is blank. So if you just say this is Adriana or whatever your name, then that's not descriptive enough either because they don't know who you are. They might not know who you are. So it's important to state more it's important to introduce yourself more. Lovely to meet you. So I was wondering if blank was just curious, thanks. This is kind of what you'd expect to see in an email setting again. And sincerely, Adriana blank, complete your full name. Don't just say your first name with the last initial or just your first name. Make sure to include all your name. And again, this doesn't have the formal email structure that you've seen in the past examples. Now there's extra things you can add to your email. As in the example, you can attach your resume or CV if you're applying for something. That's really important for when you are applying for something, you want to include more information about you. And under your full name in the closing as well, you can reiterate who you are by including your year, major, and also contact information. So you might see like Adriana Ramirez Negron, and then below be like CCS biology major, and then below you can put your phone number, and then below you can put your email, something like that. You can also add links or there's a link option in an email that you can add for more information if you're trying to reference them to another website. And here are some good resources that I also use when writing an email. I have Grammarly, and there's a version that's free, and it checks all of my grammatical errors and clarity issues before I send an email. It sometimes even prevents me from sending an email if it catches something. And then I'm like, okay, good, that's good. You can add it to your web browser. It's pretty easy and it's free. And more information writing a formal email, I got some of my information from that link. And AP Style Purdue Writing Lab, if you have been in an AP class in the past, AP English class, I personally have used this a lot, also for journalism. It has a lot of tips and stuff to write an email or to write anything that's formal, such as an essay or whatever it is that you want to write that's formal. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I will be seeing you in Sims program, so you'll have my contact through there. But hope you enjoyed, and thank you.